Welcome to the Fort Johnson podcast, the friendly voice that brings you insightful conversations from across our installation. April showers bring more than just May flowers. They also mark the start of Financial Literacy Month, a time to spring clean your finances and get your monetary goals blossoming. Today's episode is nothing short of essential, as we've got some very special guests from the Financial Readiness Program. We'll be unpacking the significance of financial literacy, discovering practical strategies to achieve financial readiness, and highlighting the empowering classes available to help you grow your financial knowledge garden. So without further ado, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this podcast. I'm Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and this is the Fort Johnson Podcast. Today with me, I have two special guests from the Financial Readiness Program over at ACS, Gary Strong and Molly Van Dyke. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
National Financial Literacy Month is celebrated in April. So what do you guys have special over there? I mean, you are the financial readiness gurus. You're the Financial Readiness Program, FRP specialists and managers. And so you know exactly what's going on over there. What is this Financial Readiness Month all about?
So we've been doing this for many, many years, where we try to educate people, and it's been done for veterans and as well as the United States wide. The idea is to get people interested in their own finances. Obviously, we pick April because that's when taxes are due.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, it's what, April 15th, or is it? It's an off day this year, isn't it?
I think it's the 16th, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Still got to pay by the 15th.
Yeah, that's you don't want the interest payments starting out. So we got this. This offers a great opportunity to check your finances and check your what are those called? Budgets. You try to live on a budget. I try to live on a budget, but I don't live on a specific budget. I just have to make sure that I don't spend as much as my bills are.
Yeah, so that's one way of budgeting. One way of budgeting is not to actually identify every dollar, but to just limit how much you want to spend and control that aspect.
Yeah, I try to teach my my teenager that, money is finite. He thinks that it's just forever. Yeah, it just keeps coming out. If I need some, I ask for more. But it's like, no, guy, you have to make sure that you spend your money in order. And in order is bills first. Pay your bills that you have no control over, like rent or mortgage, electrical, gas. Then you got your car and your insurance. And he just doesn't understand that there's a lot. And then to top it all off, you have taxes before that. So...
Yeah, so I would argue that you actually want to pay yourself first, and you would focus on your future. So a mechanism to do that is to actually allocate that money automatically into a savings account or through a retirement plan or an IRA or your TSP or 401k. Pay yourself first. We preach that because once you move that money away, you don't lose it, and you have a sense of growth in that respect.
Now, when you have a sense of growth, or when you have growth and stuff, there's what I try to teach him is that there is a net worth, and your net worth is everything that you have minus everything that you owe. Could you explain what the maybe an annual net worth checkup on that would be?
Sure. Yeah, Gary and I actually worked on some kind of top things to do this month as sort of like an annual checkup. And one of those is the net worth statement. Basically, it's just a snapshot of where your finances are in the moment. So you take all of your assets, things that have value, if they sold them, what that value would be, and then you subtract your liabilities, and then you have a number, right? And so for a lot of young service members, that number is usually negative as they're kind of building up their finances. Maybe they're new to getting a paycheck, all those things. So it's not unusual to see a negative net worth. But the idea is that when you do that net worth statement again next year, so this year you might be negative 10,000, but next year maybe you're only negative 5,000, or you've just broken even, or, and then the next year you're at $5,000 net worth. So as long as you're moving in that positive trajectory, then something's working.
I don't think I've ever had a positive net worth. I'm always in debt about something or something that I owe. I always seem to owe more than I'm worth. But I'm working on trying to save up for retirement, and apparently I lucked out and retired from the military before or just as they were switching over to TSP. I'm locked in on the old style, but the new style is I'm also in that as a civilian with the TSP. So now apparently the military is going with a TSP, and I guess that's more like a 401k where you can take it with you or transfer the money if you don't stay in for 20 years and not lose it, right?
Yeah, whether you stay in 20 years or you stay in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, TSP is just like a 401k. It's your retirement plan. It's a way for you to invest in yourself in your retirement.
Now, what other ways are there to invest in, like maybe some short term? Like I have a savings bond that my mom got me way back when, and it matured in 1989. And to this day, I don't know where it is. I think my dad has it someplace stored away in a filing cabinet. But
so if it matured in 89, there's a good chance that it stopped accruing interest at that point. So you
well,
may
that's
want to
rude.
find that. Depending on the type of bond, a lot of times they mature, and that's the end of the interest rate allocation. So you may want to go back and find that to cash it out.
No, I get $100, man.
But what you could do is cash it out, and then you could put it in a high yield savings account. And that's something that is, kind of a big deal with interest rates right now. A lot of times there are, financial institutions that are paying 4% or more for a savings account. So that's a good place to kind of store some money that you maybe don't need right away necessarily. But you could put like an emergency fund, amount in that, and then be able to access it within a couple days if you need to.
Well, that's easy access to money can be dangerous, but it's better than having all your wealth locked up in bonds and stocks and stuff.
Right, and I mean, both local credit unions for the military have higher than 5% savings rates at some level. So look at the ones that the military can qualify for here locally.
Yeah, we've got the TSP, you got your savings bonds, your high interest savings account.
Right.
No. Okay. So I don't even know what a high yield savings account is because mine makes less than 1%.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have banks and credit unions throughout the country that only pay 0.01%. The standard savings rate is 0.25%. So $10,000 sitting in a normal bank account in the United States makes $1 a year. If you're making 0.25%, you're making $2.50. 5% is going to get you $500. So it's worth the effort to put money into just move money from one account to another.
Now, the TSP, it's the same thing with you've got the government bonds. There's many different parts of it. You got the government bonds, which are the safest, but they're also the lowest yielding. I think it's at maybe 3%.
Let me caution on the safest. It's not about safest. You can't lose capital, but you're still fighting against inflation. So what we want to do is beat inflation and use the tax advantage of TSPs and IRAs and 401ks. We want to move that direction that we grow our money tax-free. So we're not paying tax on the growth of that money. So when you take that money out, then you have significantly more than you would have if you were paying taxes on the way.
Now, when you're going out to no one's going to be able to save up enough to buy a house. We all have to get the loan to get it, and in order to get a loan, you have to build up credit. And it's like back to my stepson. He wants to get a car, and he thinks he's just going to go out and get a car. It's like, well, this is how long you're going to have to save just to buy the cheap car that you're looking at. And that's not even taking into account that most of that money is going to be gone before you can save it because of the taxes. So he has to build up credit. Now, the credits, the best way to build up credit is with a credit card, I would imagine, in proper use of a credit card. What could you explain this whole credit thing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, that's something when we work with young service members, a lot of times I hear service members tell me that, well, I'm keeping a balance on my credit card and I'm just paying the minimums each month because I want to build up my credit. And so that's probably one of the biggest myths, I think, when working with young service members. You can build your credit without paying any interest at all. A lot of times I encourage folks, if they have, just one credit card, they can just charge their gas for the week and they pay that off at the end of the billing cycle. So they're not paying any interest. They're still establishing good repayment history, which is the biggest factor in your credit score. And then, going ahead and checking your credit report. You can, since COVID hit, they actually changed. It used to be that you could pull your credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion once a year, each of those three. But now you can pull them every week if you want. So annualcreditreport.com is the website that you go to. It is a .com, but it's still the kind of official website where you go and get your credit reports. It's important to pull all three because sometimes there might be different information on each of the three, and just making sure, I've heard a statistic that over 70% of credit reports have errors on them, and it is our responsibility to make sure that those errors are corrected, so that when you do want to buy that, when your son wants to go buy that car or house or whatever it is, that everything's good to go on his credit, and he's got a strong credit profile, so then he can get the best interest rate possible.
Yeah, there was some kind of breach, a credit card breach or something like that. So I got, they offered me the free membership to Experian.
Yes.
And so I keep an eye on the Experian account, and I just got a recent update that it's $849.
Good job.
Now, after a certain point, I mean, there's a range, and I think 850 is the highest. What, 250 is the lowest, or something like that?
I think it's 450 for the FICO. But these change depending on which FICO algorithm you're using.
But the whole thing is, once you're above a certain score, it really doesn't matter anymore. You've accredited, or you've scored high enough on the credit score, so they're going to look at you favorably when you go in to get your thing. So I would imagine that the higher the score, the better the deal you get.
Exactly. It's kind of like getting a 95 or a 97 on your grade school report. They're both A's. And so what they're looking for with the credit score is your credit worthiness. How likely are you to repay that debt, and what kind of risk is the lender extending by giving you money?
Yeah. Now, the best way to, talking about credit, I think this is going to take up a lot of time because I live on credit. It's everything that I do is revolves around credit. I mean, I like the purchasing power and all the strength that it comes with it. But I also have to create. I need to save money still. So what would you say to build credit and still keep everything in check? What would you say are the best strategies?
So like Molly was just saying, that's perfect. You establish a standard that you're only going to buy these things on credit, and you pay it off after the statement comes out. That gets reported to your credit reporting agency. You don't pay interest, and you limit your usage. I always like the idea of your fixed or recurring bills to go on one credit card, and then you get your bank or credit union to actually pay off your statement automatically every month, so you don't have to worry about it. All you do is monitor to make sure that what's being charged is, in fact, what you authorized.
Yeah, and make sure that you have enough money in the account
please
to cover that. TSP is helpful also, and it earns a better yield than putting your money in a bank. And how would you go about making sure that your TSP is properly funded?
So if you're okay, so thrift savings plan is like a 401k. So the only way to contribute is to take money out of your paycheck. So if you're a federal employee or a military, you can withdraw money from your paycheck every month directly into the thrift savings plan. If you do that first, you don't have a sense of loss, and you believe your money will. I think we liken it to dripping water into a bucket. If you're sitting there watching it, it's never going to fill. walk away from it for a few hours, and next thing you know, the bucket's full.
A watched pot never boils.
There you go.
If I look at it as I never had it, so I don't miss it.
There you go. If you never have it, you never miss it, and then you can increase that over time, and you really want to do it. It's the numbers are staggeringly low for people who are prepared to retire, and so we want to make sure that you have enough funds to actually live the life you want to live.
Well, that's always a goal of mine, is to have the life. You know, I had a retirement receipt that was going to pay off my everything, you know, and it failed to come through. So apparently somebody up in the Northeast won the lotto, and so once again, I'm gonna have to start all over again.
So that's the best investment if you win.
Yes.
And it's probably the worst investment when you lose, but risk mitigation, that's pretty bad.
So Financial Readiness Program is over at ACS.
Yes.
And I know ACS is just filled with all kinds of opportunities and classes and learning opportunities. What kind of opportunities or classes that do you guys have over there? I mean, you are the Financial Readiness Program, so I would assume that you have classes on being financially readiness.
We do. So we've dedicated our Wednesdays across the calendar year to providing financial classes. They are common military trainings, is what they're called for the most part. So basically, they're required trainings for our young active duty.
Oh, it's required. They're required. So you have to go.
So
be sure to go.
And there are opportunities. There's some flexibility in terms of in person, or if they want to complete the trainings online. But really, they hit on personal and professional milestones that service members go through. So the ones, you know, the biggest topics are when the service member is getting ready to vest in TSP, continuation pay between 8 and 12 years of service. The service member is eligible for continuation pay if they want to continue their service in the military. If they're getting ready to deploy, if they are getting ready to return from deployment, or they've just returned from deployment, they can come and get a class on, you know, preparing their finances for that change. If they're getting ready to PCS, or as they're coming in, we can talk to them about changes in their finances due to a PCS.
Are they still doing?
Changes.
Do they still offer the Diddy moves? Okay, cool. Because I've always liked those.
They don't call them Diddy moves anymore. What do they call them?
I don't know.
There's always one. I always get one question in there. So, okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. So we got PCSing to help with the PCS moves.
Yeah, and then those are kind of the, you know, professional milestones that are happening. But on the personal side, if a service member is getting ready to go through, getting ready to get married, if they're getting divorced, if they're having a new child, and that could be maybe, you know, they're having a newborn, or maybe they're getting remarried and it's a blended family, or they're adopting a child. So any of those different scenarios. And then the last couple ones, if they or someone in their family has been diagnosed with a illness or sickness, we have a class on preparing your finances for that situation. And then, you know, back on the professional side, as service members are getting promoted, we can also give them a class about, you know, the changes in their finances and kind of doing some of those checkups related to.
I would imagine that's the best time to increase the TSP. What is it? The TSP.
The contributions. Yeah.
Contributions, that's the one.
Yeah, so we always look for excuses to raise TSP. So I always put one on Christmas, too. On Christmas, go in and increase a %. You get a pay raise in January. You have no idea that the money's actually disappeared from your paychecks in early January.
Yeah, that's the pay raise.
Right.
What, 5.2? Or?
Yeah, we had a 5.2% raise this last year, or the military did. And then, of course, when you get promoted or go over those time numbers, was it 1 year, 2 years, 3, and then even numbers afterwards, 4, 6, 8. So.
It's been a while. It's been a while, so I don't even remember. I know the steps. It's like the first 3, but that's about how I go as far as that. Now, in celebration, I mean, this is Financial Readiness Month, or Awareness Month, or Financial Readiness Program. It's Molly's month.
Yes.
It's So what do we got going on in celebration of this month?
Yeah, so we are offering, in addition to our regular classes, we're doing a home buying class. Actually, Gary and our personal financial counselor, Ms. Tamika, they're going to be giving 2 classes on Thursday, April 18th, and then one on Friday, April 19th on home buying. So Gary, before the podcast, Gary was talking about different, scenarios for home buying, loans and stuff. They both have an incredible background in real estate and finance, and they're going to bring a lot to the table. So I think it's going to be really a great class if anyone is looking to buy, even if it's not, in the next couple months, if they're thinking about it in the next year or further out. It'll be a great class, lots of good information.
Now, I heard Gary speaking of the USDA, and when I think of USDA, I'm thinking of steaks. Prime, grade,
Right. Yes, it's not available to every area because it's limited to rural areas. But we are definitely in rural area.
So I am speaking of the farm.
It is.
Okay.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture provides, similar to the VA, a no interest rate loan for people coming in. And a lot of times they'll provide grants and incentives for home ownership. And if you're struggling with finances, USDA really likes to step in, even if you don't have VA eligibility.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. And so the FRP, you guys call it the FRP, so I'm going to call it too. For the units out there and for the platoons and brigades and stuff like that, do you guys have to have your classes over at the ACS?
Absolutely not. We actually we're actively kind of recruiting units to let us know when they need classes. We will come to them. They can certainly use ACS facilities, but we're happy to come to the unit and provide a class on whatever topic that they're interested in that's relevant to, their young service members.
And whatever time works for them, because we don't want to interrupt their work schedules, but we do want them to concentrate on financial literacy and growing their wealth.
That's growing my wealth. I'm always interested in doing that. Do you have cool classes that would be making money kind of things we do investing and stock market trading and stuff like that?
Yeah, we don't talk specifics to trading because that's effectively a gamble, and there's lots of methods out there to do that. And of course, there's podcasts like this and YouTube videos all day long that will teach you how to get rich quick. You have to be cautious with those, of course, because you're taking risk. And if they knew how to get rich, they probably wouldn't be offering the podcast on how to do it.
That's always made me question. It's like, wait a minute, you made all this money doing this, then why are you trying to sell me something for $29.95? If you're like a mega millionaire and you want to be rich like me, buy my stuff. Make me richer.
Right. Pay me, I'll come out. Oh, actually, the Army already pays us, so you don't have to pay us. So the active duty military, it's completely free. It doesn't cost them anything to engage in this. And part of the things we enjoy the most is we're not selling anything. We're absolutely not selling anything. We have no vested interest on anything other than improving people's lives.
Well, that's cool. And their retirements. So
yes.
Make sure that retirement wise, when you start, when is the best time to start thinking about retirement? When financially.
So that's your goal. Are you looking at retiring at 30 years old? Or are you looking at retiring at 70? Do you want to work until you're 95? Our quest is always the idea that with enough wealth, you get to choose what you do, when you do it, who you do it with, for how long you do it. So you get to enjoy a job like this, that does not a mass income, but it does provide, stability and capability to help others. And that's what we get best. I think that's our enjoyment.
Yeah, I think the readiness portion, I think a lot of people could use some help with prioritization. And, to me, priority is, the stability that you said. I've always wanted to be able to not worry about how much something is if I wanted to go out and get it.
Nice.
I think I got that from my dad. And there have been times that I have, and, times aren't always great. And I look at it as just a stepping stone or a roadblock that you have to maneuver around to get back on track. Do you guys help, or can you help with, if somebody's hit a road detour in their path to success?
Yeah, I would argue that's a lot of our existence is helping people getting out of the current challenges they're at. Obviously, we like to develop a strong savings plan and an investment plan and moving forward and trying to move that direction. But I would say you were talking about how early to start. We love familial finance as well, so it's never too early to start teaching your children. Or at least I never thought it was. I was teaching child finance for a while, and then when I had my own child, I didn't realize that children had a problem with time measurement. Until about 3 or 4 years old, but at that point they can start actually understanding time.
They also don't understand that sound travels.
No, they don't.
It's like the little baby was out in the kitchen and was trying to sneak a cookie out of the cookie bag, but didn't realize that the wrestling bag, the sound travels, so you could hear it from the other side of the room.
How did you know, Mom? We know everything.
We know everything until they're teenagers. Then they know everything, and it's like, we'll move out now. And so I should have done that when I was a teenager. I should have moved out when I knew everything. Because now I'm older and I don't know anything. But aren't there any? You guys have you have so many resources at the tips of your fingers that you like to allow other people access to, like this generation, it's all about online videos, so don't you guys have some videos to watch?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of great resources out there. The Department of Defense has an Office of Financial Readiness website, and it has every possible topic of financial, literacy topic that you could think of in short video clips. The website financialfrontline.org is actually the Army's official financial literacy website, and they have these great little 1 minute video clips on certain topics. So if you're getting ready to PCS, you can click on that one and it'll give you, it'll touch on little vignettes of each kind of
I can watch a video for 1 minute. That's not a problem.
Yep. And then targeting spouses, we have milspousemoneymission.org. This is also specifically for Army military spouses. Same kind of concept. You click on the topic that you're interested in, and then you can watch the video clips on those topics. So those are kind of the two large, huge resources. And then, of course, we want to put in a plug for Army Emergency Relief. AERHQ.org is another good resource too. So
we're working our way up on the AER campaign, soldiers helping soldiers, and making a difference. And we're getting there. And what is our goal this year?
So the goal is $100,000 raised and 100% informed. So we want all the service members across the installation to know what AER does, what categories of assistance, generally that AER can assist with. And we're getting there. We're chugging along.
Absolutely. I saw the video on online where soldier figures out or learns from the sergeant major that he can get his car fixed from, or he could get some money to fix his car temporarily.
Yep, POV repairs is one of those categories of assistance.
It's a great little video they put together.
What about the headquarters, the AER headquarters? No, that's AER headquarters. That's where all of it goes, it goes into a big pot, and then we get it back. What are
they saying? About $1 donated equates to about $3 given out. So.
Well, that doesn't seem financially ready.
Well, they have a trust fund, and they also have commercial donors, but mostly it's soldiers helping soldiers. So they need the donations to maintain the trust fund, so they can continue doing that for the life of the military.
Yeah, it's great to help give back when you can, and they make it easy to give to AER, especially at the point of sales, where you could just round it to the next dollar or give right there, and or you can even take it right out of your paycheck.
That's right.
So
absolutely. So
we got one last video website, and that's the Financial Readiness headquarters. No, the learning, U.S.
Oh, yes.
learning.
And I didn't mention the website earlier. It's the DoD Financial Readiness website, finred.usalearning.gov.
And FinRed's short for financial readiness.
Yes.
Oh, Finred. I like Finred. That kind of sounds like a fish.
Right.
Finred. Blue Fred. Finred. No. All right.
You catch that locally?
Yeah, it's off the coast. It's over there with the shrimp, the jumbo shrimp. Well, Gary and Molly, I appreciate you guys coming in, and I hope to have you back here again from the Financial Readiness Program. Gary, I foresee great things in the future for you, since I believe Molly will be PCSing
Sadly.
soon. Yeah,
Very sadly.
She just got here. It's like, you just got here.
Yes.
Gary's going to take it to new levels.
New levels. It's going to be Gary Heights. Gary, strong levels. Gary Strong.
It'll never get to Marvelous Molly. Never going to happen.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming in. I'm Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office. If you are in need of financial readiness, in need of financial, no. If you'd like to learn more about getting your finances under control and what you can do to better suit your retirement in the future, go on over to ACS building 920. I get them mixed up a little bit. 920. You can call Molly or Gary at the Financial Readiness Program over at ACS. In the meantime, please be sure to click the subscribe and the notification bell, and keep on watching, and we'll be listening at you later.